Alright, boys, how we all doing?
No bad.
Good. First podcast of pre-season. It's always it's hard, isn't it? We've been at the Gull and Sand Dunes all day, running up and down, getting ready for a long season ahead of podcasting. We'll talk about Saturday's pre-season match, and we'll preview the rest of the pre-season games before the cup final. Did anybody even watch the game on Saturday?
Watched the first half.
I watched bits of it.
Forgot it was on, man.
Liars. Aye, liars. Talk shit. Nobody was. Season's finished. For the first 25 minutes, we were on the fucking beach, man. I don't know if Hearts even knew they were playing. Tam, what's been happening this week?
Not much. Been off all week, so just been chilling out.
No,
Bumping into Hearts players in Costo. I'm unemployed for a week, Just been kicking about my trackies.
You got a check shirt on and drinking IPA?
Actually, having a wee wine tonight.
You're an absolute gimp. You got a check shirt on with a t-shirt underneath it. You think I was going to just let that go? Absolutely no chance. Right. Kev, what's been happening?
it's been quiet. It's not been a fun-filled week as it was last week. It's been a bit low-key and pretty dour, in all honesty.
I know. We beat Dundee United again, and not once did I even tweet about those absolute fucking idiots that did the sponsored walk to Tynecastle, remember? Remember, that's how much we've been. Aye, we've been slacking. I'll no lie to you boys, I'm knackered with the Hibs tears tweet. It's a 24/7 job. There are just too many Hibs tears for me today. I've been going to get sacked from my job. I'll be unemployed as well.
How many phones have you burned out?
I just have to scroll through Twitter. Just attacking anybody.
I was going to say, regardless if it is hipsters or not, you're just hipsters in them anyway. So
anybody that's greeting about anything to do with Hearts gets a hipsters. The way it should be.
The Nottingham fan or something replied, I don't even know what that means.
Right. Mate, his argument ended when he said that they have Joe Worrell and Scott McKenna and both will sell for a combined total of 40 million. And I was like, you don't even deserve a Hibsters. You're just getting ignored. So you're talking out your arse. Brads, what's been happening?
I'm fucking bored of Hearts winning. We can't even be shite properly. We play pish and still win.
Tell me about
what the fuck's going on?
I know.
Yeah, I'm getting
Tell
absolutely bored of this,
it's-
man. I hate this team.
What we 9 undefeated or something like that? 7 wins, 2 draws.
Boring.
I'm not cut out for this. No, I'm
No,
not cut out for it.
we need a good old fashioned fucking thrashing next week off Ross County. Is it Ross County?
No, 'cause
Aye.
it's pre-season. We can't, but we're not going to be able to be annoyed at Hearts until at least the European qualification stages. When we get beat off Maltese fishermen or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, at least we're doing it on a global scale. I like that. That's something, I suppose. That's
Didn't you like it
something
last
to
time
look
round,
forward to. I know, but we need to build up. Robbie's took all the sticks that I had to beat him, and he's chucked them out. If he wins the cup, I'll have fucking nothing. I'll be like that Ian Beale picture. I'll be like, I've got nothing else to give. So even if we get beat off Maltese fishermen, we can't even have a go off when he wins the cup. We'll have to just deal with it.
Does that mean it's the end of the podcast if that happens?
It feels that way. Like, I'm not going to lie to you boys. If we win the Scottish Cup, just go out in a high, man. We'll just leave it. There's nowhere else we can go.
If somebody wants to make us an offer for all of our artwork and all that shit, you're fucking welcome to it.
Somebody can buy the intro off us, because
There you go.
when Hearts start to lose, that's going to kill us, isn't it? It's going to come back. That's going to come back to absolute destroys. Eneff, actually, a big shout out to the Hibs guy that messaged us, and all I said was, "Do you want a square goal?"
I hope you said yes.
It made my absolute week. Do you want a square goal? Brilliant. Ando, what's been happening?
DMs though, because you
It
can
was
have tears
straight-
on back.
It was straight into the DMs. Had to accept it, and then we opened it. All it said was, "Do you want a square goal?"
Fucking find it and just reply and say yes. We'll meet him in Sainsbury's car park.
No, he's
Tam
a
can go in
faceless
first.
troll. He's a faceless troll. We won't rise to that. We're like I said last week, we win with grace. We don't have to gloat. Ando, what's been happening this week?
Nothing. I made the mistake of looking at fucking Twitter at some stage after the fucking Hibs tears thing, and I think I got a sort of passive aggressive route off you for fucking
You did.
going after folk.
Told you we win with grace and poise.
No, we don't. Like the 86 episodes of me being a moany fucking wank, and that doesn't change whenever we win.
You didn't go fishing
So-
and punch fuck out the fish once you've caught it. You know what I mean?
How no? That's the best part.
That was my all week. I'd been
Smash its
building
fucking
up.
heat off the side of the boat.
All week we were building up to knowing that if Hearts win, the absolute floods of tears, and I knew my plan was just to sit and reply to every single one of them with a Hibs tears tweet. And then I looked on, and you were picking actual fights with folk, like a raging da. A raging da on Facebook and trying to fight folk.
This is brilliant. It was like an adrenaline surge. I was like, I've not had a fight with anybody online for fucking ages. It was like back in the day when Facebook was a thing. They like you'd fucking send messages or whatever. I'll fucking kill you or whatever. But I had a great wee fucking time for half an hour just rubbing it right up, fuck. And then you're like, stop it, don't do it. All right.
Yeah, Ando, I've got a question, man. Do you consider WhatsApp online? Because you're picking fights with us all week, like all the time.
Yeah, but that's different.
That's pre-season. That's pre-season real fights, isn't it?
You're just a wee fud that deserves my rage. That's that's the end.
Well, the good news is over your shoulder I can see your bigoted kangaroo. So you'll have hundreds of Celtic fans in your DM try to fight you because you've got a kangaroo in the background.
Fucking bring it on, man. I'll welcome it.
That was some good patter, wasn't it? I liked that. I liked that that emerged as a thing last week, that Celtic have got upset because we're taking inflatable kangaroos to the cup final. Which was quite fun.
Kangaroos were unionist.
That guy, he's absolutely coining it in, isn't he? The inflatable
100%.
guy. He is absolutely buzzing. He started that rumour just to get the Celtic dads enraged.
It's a cracking marketing plan.
It is, mate. It worked a peach, mate. It worked a
Yeah.
peach.
I seen it on Twitter that some lassie had bought one. I was like, I'm fucking jumping on this train now before they sell it. They bought one, so there we go. Hiya, pal.
Yours looks very tamish, and for everybody in the hang, we will understand what that means. It looks like a tam kangaroo.
I don't understand what that means. That probably sums it up, though.
It does. Right. As always, welcome back to This Is My Story, your unofficial Hearts podcast. As we say every week, our opinions are our own and always miles off it. This week we will go through Saturday's pre-season friendly at Dundee United. We'll talk about some of the headlines of the week. We'll talk about the Players' Player of the Year team that's just been announced. Some good and bad news in terms of injuries. We talk about the Hampden 50-50 ticket split and getting the shite end. Season tickets. Talk about a couple of changes at board level for the Foundation of Hearts. We'll talk about Ross County on Saturday, and we've got a Kevin McKenna's as players and a Hampden. Sound good, boys?
It does.
Right.
What was that?
Why did you say
Say aye, man. That's getting cut.
that? Is absolutely staying in.
Fucking absolutely is not getting cut. I'll do the audio version myself. It means that stays in.
Right, Kev. You've got Kevin McKenna's for this week, but in our excitement of getting it right up Hibs last week, we forgot to do the answers to Kevin McKenna's as players. So on you go, Kev. What were last week's one? He's the answer.
Last week's first one for last week was 4 goals for this combative midfielder. Father also played for the club. 3 red cards across 3 seasons and 119 appearances in total. Any of you guys want to take a pop guess at who you thought it was?
I don't have my notepad. I'm sure I wrote it down.
I never even.
And I was the list there. I'm sorry.
Nothing new for you, Tam. So last week's first one was Ian Black. And the second one was a 31-year-old player who recently celebrated his birthday. 25 league goals across 58 league appearances. Scored 1 hat-trick in that time and scored on his debut. And remember, this was last week. And Ando, who is it?
I don't know.
Who's your favourite player, Ando?
Well, let's not spoil that, Kev, because it's going to feature in the next thing. My favourite player of all time.
of current squad.
He's currently 31-year-old.
Current 31-year-old. It's Boise, correct, mate. Correct.
Right.
So that was Boise, who, of course, is now on 26 league goals across 59 league appearances. So that was the two from last week. And if you want your two from this week, happily give you them now.
The burst video of Liam Boyce saying "fuck the Hibs" is the best thing ever. I watch it. I watch it every now and again because it's brilliant. Right, on you go, Kev. Just thought I would add that.
I think it was well worth a little shout out there. So the first one for this week, 62 appearances, released at the end of his contract before moving to St Midden after a couple of trials in England, failed to land him a contract. He did, however, finish his professional career with 5 seasons at Brunton Park. So there you go. There's a little bit of a...
You said St Midden like a Hearts down.
Exactly,
Facebook,
mate.
So I stopped listening.
It makes a change you even started listening, to be truthfully honest with you, mate. And the second one for this week, 248 appearances. An inductee into the Hearts Hall of Fame in 2007. Won the award of the Scottish Footballer Writers Association Player of the Year on 2 occasions in his career. That's all you're getting.
Right.
So that's your 2 for this week.
Thank goodness for that.
Nice.
Oh,
Thanks,
cool.
Kev. Right. Ando, you've got a tan down for us. Explain what it is and explain the twist on this week's one.
Yeah, so the time down for anybody that's a first-time listener is I've got a list of players here that are matched to a certain criteria. I'll tell everybody what the criteria is, and you basically have to guess. So we'll go round in a circle, and if you get an answer correct, you get a point. If not, it's a 0 and we move on, and the most points wins at the end. And this week's criteria is that it's my favourite top 20 players of all time. Right? Nice and simple. So they don't have to be particularly good. These are just my top 20 players, just because of brilliant goals or great matches that I've been at, something that makes me love them. So 20 players on the list. And the only reason it's relevant is because someone got demoted out of my top 20s, a regular conversation I have with a couple of pals, and one player sadly lost out because this week somebody got promoted into my top 20. So there you go. This is why it's relevant. So we're going to start in no particular order with Kevin.
I will take Zaliukas as one of your 20.
That is absolutely correct. Corbett.
Boyce.
Absolutely correct. Tambo.
Robbo.
You went for the fucking low-hanging fruit there, you wank. Right, Brad's.
Also, I'll go for Rudy.
Rudy Scatchell, yep, correct. Back to Kev.
I'll take Mark de Vries.
Yep, got that one. Next.
Craig Gordon.
Yep. Obviously, he has to be on the list. He's a good player. Let's not say otherwise. He's been good. Part of many great games that I've been at. Tam.
John Comin.
That's absolutely correct. And he wasn't really on my list, but after he kicked the shit out of you, he definitely made it into my top 20.
Relevant
Only
answer.
joking. JC was always on there. Brad, you're next.
Yes.
Gary Mackay. Sadly, incorrect. No, not one of my top 20 of all time.
What
Kev.
about Brad Mackay? I'm kidding.
Brad Mackay. Is your name's not Kev? Shut up, you wee dick. Kev.
Let's go with Billy Mackay then. Barry Mackay, even Billy Mackay. Shut up.
No, he said Billy Mackay.
He said Billy Mackay. Yeah.
I get to say Barry Mackay and get a point.
Billy Mackay, sadly, is not on the list.
Yes.
Kev, you lose out. Corbett.
Barry Mackay.
Yes, the new inductee into Scott's top 20 Hall of Fame at the expense of Tosh McKinley. So, there we go.
Shame, I like Tosh McKinley.
So they are, but I now like Barry Mackay more because he's just more current, more relevant. Tosh, fucking ancient. I'm starting to forget because I'm getting old now. Tam, you're next.
It's getting harder now, isn't it?
Well,
That's what she said.
Will be for you.
Colin Cameron.
Yes, correct. Well done. Brad's.
Lock.
Eh?
What?
Gary Lock? Yep, absolutely. Kev.
How many we got then? There can't be many left actually. We've done all right so far.
Well, the 20. I think I said, and you have correctly guessed
10
10,
left,
so
okay.
there's 10 left.
wow.
Oh wow. What's wrong?
What's the matter, man? You're sucking helium or what?
Get a job.
He's about
Yeah,
I'm
either
going to go.
This is the first
Buzzing
social interaction
helium
I've
or-
had all day, man. I really need it.
I'm going to go with Roman Bednar because of a certain goal against Rangers.
No, it was a great goal, great game. But no, he's not in my top 20. Corbett.
Paul Hartley.
Absolutely. Tam, you're next.
That's how I was going to go for. I will
Oh,
go
there's no prizes
Andy,
for second place.
Andy Webster.
Andy Webster, no, sadly not. Brad, you're next.
Henry Smith.
Correct. Of course, Henry Smith's on that list. Absolute legendary player.
I'm
Kevin.
going to go with Michael Pospisil because of that goal against Motherwell.
That I wax
Exactly.
lyrical, but
You
again,
can't-
a brilliant
But-
goal. He's not on my list. Wasn't there long enough. Didn't do just enough to get into my top 20. I'm sorry. So tough. Corbett next.
Is there any old school players?
There's
in
a
there?
couple. There's a couple. So you've got probably one really old school player. And then the others are sort of medium range. When I was sort of
Okay.
teenager or whatever, late teens.
Auntie Norma's favourite player.
Neil Berry was on my list until recently, but
He's
no.
stopped shagging her, has he? Fuck's sake, man. Come on, Uncle Berry. Get back round there and get Auntie Norma seen it.
He's not. Oh God, fucking hell! It's been a while since we brought that one up. That's gonna come back and bite my
Well,
ass.
Take her up at the Arby's, mate.
Tam, you're next.
Stevie Fulton.
Correct. He's on that list.
I was going to say Baggio.
Love Stevie Fulton. Brad's.
Thomas Flugel.
Yes, he is. I'm fucking annoyed. That was my ace in the hole.
That was going to be that one. Try to think of Salvatore. Not long
We're
enough. either.
getting dangerously close to these Newman innuendos again. We've had you saying you'll have to rub it up again. But we've just had the holes just featured.
Oh, yeah.
And what did you say, Tam?
Dry humping.
You getting it harder or something? Are we trying to get Newman? If you're listening, come on, sort the boys out. How many hints do you
Exactly.
need? We're a bit over the hill. Right, is it me or is it Tam?
It's you, Corbett.
I think it's Corbett.
Neil
Is
McCann.
it, Tam?
Neil McCann, correct. Well done. Oh shit, my voice just done it. Correct. Fucking hell. Right, Tam.
Phil Stamp.
Yes, well done. Brad's. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 left.
You give me a clue of a position, no?
They all played in the start 11 at some
Sure.
point.
Missionary.
Right, so you've got one's a defender. The other one is a midfielder. Another one is a attacking midfielder, and the other one a midfielder as well.
Is your defender Naismith?
No, it's not.
Paul
Kev.
Ritchie.
No, sadly not. Corbett. If we go round the circle, then we'll call it games of bogey, and I'll just tell you the other 4. Right, Corbett, your chance to get a winner.
Dave McPherson.
No. Again, very, very good player. Love the guy to bits, but he's not in my top 20 as it stands just now. Tam, try and rescue the boys here. Come on, get one right.
Davy Weir.
No. Right,
Who
I'll
did
just
I
tell you
just
the
say?
remaining 4 because we could be here all night.
Don't know what.
Dave
don't know what-
McPherson.
No, you said McPherson.
Oh, right, okay. I
Dave
don't know.
McPherson.
Colin Cameron. Did we say him?
I said
Uh,
McPherson.
He's been said already.
Uh,
Brad's.
Te-
The scores are just now. Kev's got 2. Brad's has got 4. Tam's got 4. Corbett's in the lead with 5, and there's 4 to play.
Temps.
No.
What
Come
years
on,
are we
you have to
talking in?
think bigger than that. So one of them will be you. You won't know him, Tam.
okay.
And Yeah, there's no danger, You might know of them.
Yeah.
The other ones
Walter Kidd?
are
Eamon
no,
Bannon.
nah,
Is it that
Nah.
era?
Ferguson.
yeah,
Craig Levein.
that era. No,
Alan
I'll
McLaren.
give you a clue. Right, no, think back to the Bayern Munich game.
Ian
I say
Ferguson.
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 You never said Ian Ferguson.
He
I never
said
heard you say that.
Ferguson.
I've said it
But
before.
he just
yeah.
guessed. He just said
When?
a second name, and it just happened to be Ferguson.
No, I was thinking
Well,
old school Bayern Munich games.
So is that the midfielder
Right,
or
okay.
was
Yeah, that's one of the midfielders. Then I'll just tell you the other ones, right? So you've got Bruno Aguilar,
nice?
Thanks.
Fair.
Jean-Louis Valois, and Takis
I love
Fisas.
Of course.
I love all those guys.
Yeah, me too.
So there you are. Scores in the door. Corbett wins with 5. Tambo and Brad's tied on 4, and Kev propping them up on 2.
I got Ferguson,
And,
so it's actually a draw.
Yeah, but I didn't hear you say it. So I don't know if you're going to get the credit for it.
We were getting him spoon fed to us anyway, so he's getting nothing.
Exactly. It's my competition.
I'm
rules.
sure he won
Tam,
last week as well, so we
you're
can't
not
have like 2 weeks in a row where he wins.
Nah, I got like one
Let's
answer right last week.
Ando
Throw
won
the
last
whole
week.
throw the whole thing into a shambles.
I was distracted by the
So
fly
there you go.
last weekend. We went. That was Dema. That was
So,
Dema. Right. Headlines for the week. What do you want to talk about first? Obviously today, so it's relative or relevant. More would be better to say, wouldn't it? We've got the Players Player of the Year team. So the team of the season basically picked by the players. Craig Gordon obviously is in there as the goalkeeper. Then it's Charles Cook of Ross County. Loads of Celtic and Rangers players that don't deserve to be there. And John Souttar, which I find really strange, obviously, because he signed for Rangers, but Craig Halkett and Stephen Kingsley have had much better seasons, played more games, been more impactful. These things are annoying, innit? Because we've spoke about this before. Dick Campbell gets Arbroath promoted, Robbie Nielsen secures third, wins the Scottish Cup, Malky Mackay gets Ross County into Europe. All of those people are more deserving than Ange Postecoglou winning Celtic's 15th title in 16 years, or whatever the hell the stupid stat is. Do you know what I mean? They've won 16 out of the last 18 available trophies. How is him winning the league anywhere near the achievement of David Martindale keeping Livingston up, Robbie Nielsen winning the Scottish Cup, Sean Maloney making an absolute hit? Like, these things are all more deserving, and that's why I hate these things. Anybody got anything to say on any of that?
Pointless. The annoying thing for me about these kind of things is the fact that, especially for a manager, the manager of the season, let's wait till the end of the season, see what actually does happen. As you rightly say, Dick Campbell bringing Arbroath up into the Premier League, which A, I don't want to happen, and B, I don't think will happen, is a greater achievement, as you say, than somebody who's got effectively an unlimited budget for players and wages.
We'll have to cut that, Kev. We'll have to keep our hatred for Arbroath under wraps, or the rest of Scottish football will destroy us, because it's in vogue right now to pretend that you think that Campbell's a good guy and Arbroath is a fairy tale. So let's keep that. Let's keep that under wraps. But you're right. I agree as well, and also the fact that he's not even in the conversation. But if Giovanni Van Bronckhorst wins a European Cup, like, it eclipses everything that anybody else does. These things are just stupid. Mm-hmm. I think being taking our glasses off or whatever, like, there's more than a fair argument to say that Barry Mackay has been every bit as impactful in a lesser quality team than, for example, Jota or Kyogo, who has been brilliant, but he's only played like 47% of the games this season or something. So a great player, like an unbelievably great player, but Barry Mackay has been consistently one of the best players in the league. What is it? So what's he got now? 10 league assists and 12 or 14 assists in all competitions or something.
Yeah.
Crazy.
He's one behind Tav, I think it is.
Something crazy like that. Stupid. Stephen Kingsley scored 7 or 8 goals this season for left centre half. Some of the best goals you'll see this season. Also, that's a thing that we've never talked about, the goal of the season thing that Sky are running. Have you seen the choices that they picked?
ridiculous.
Oh shit!
They
No, I've
only
not seen that.
They picked one Hearts goal. Pick it. What do you think it is for the season?
I think that is Mackay's, is it no?
Aye, Barry Mackay versus Livingston. The volley.
Yeah.
Aye. No, fair enough. It's league.
Fair enough, it was class,
League,
like,
it's league
aye.
goal. So the free kicks at Hampden and Ellis Sims at Hampden's not gonna count.
Yeah.
But like we could pick any Stephen Kingsley free kick. Better goals than that. So, but aye, never mind. We're not better, as we say all the time. We're not better or ill informed. So we'll move on with that. Injuries. Good news, I think, again, well, good news when it comes to Hearts and their injury record and how they like to sell these stories, but the injury isn't as bad as feared for Halkett. Eneff, however, did go off on Saturday injured. Just quickly around the table, it looks like we're staring a Peter Haring Scottish Cup 2019 final situation in the face here. And look at how much it set Haring back by rushing him back just to play the cup final. Do we, with the fact that we have European football until December, do you rush, if you're Robbie, do you rush Halkett back just to play him in the Scottish Cup final, Brads?
Do you know what? These things will be totally gauged by the medical team, so I don't know if they will rush him back. But I've been convinced now. I changed my argument. Last week I was saying it's a free hit. Didn't really care about the final. I now want to win it, so rush him back.
Tam.
I think if Sibbick and Moore are all right for the next however many games, 4 games, if they play well, there has to be a conversation. I wouldn't want to rush him back. And as you say, Peter Haring, who was out for how many months afterwards, his hernia thing. So I think you need to be careful. But I'm not a doctor, so I don't have the
You're
answers.
not.
So
Don't do
No,
yourself
man.
a disservice, mate.
I've got a PhD in wee guys.
Well, we know, we can tell by your shirt and t-shirt combo. You dress like a fucking mannequin out of George and Asda. Kev, you rushing him back?
I get where Brad's is coming from. I want to win the Scottish Cup. I think what we should look at doing is actually rushing back Suter and maybe leaving Halkett on the bench as a possible requirement for the cup final, and just leave it at that. I'm quite happy if Suter then is out for a further 6 or 7 months after the cup final. Oh well, so be it. Is that
Ando.
better? Is that twisted?
But that's what
Yes,
it's
it's
all
fine.
about, innit?
Perfect.
For me, we've got bigger fish to fry. The Scottish Cup, while winning it, would be absolutely fucking brilliant, especially against that mob. Then I think it's just more sensible that because we don't have a massive squad already, we don't know who we're going to acquire over the summer. Then I think we've got bigger, more important games coming up in Europe that could maybe chance earning us a wee bit more money than winning the Scottish Cup would. So it makes sense to me to maybe not rush him back, especially if we've got coverage at that position anyway. So yeah, wrap him up in cotton wool for me.
Because the argument comes, well, actually, if Sibbick and Moore, for example, get the last 4 games together, having just played the last 2, so they get a run of six games playing alongside each other, build that relationship, cement themselves and grow confidence. Is that better position than rushing back Halkett, rushing back Suter, who haven't played 5 or 6 games, who are going to lack match sharpness, who, John Suter has now been out for, 2 months? Do you know what I mean? So you got to look at it and balance it up in both ways. Is it better to play slightly worse players, but who are played and are match sharp, than risk better players and they aren't up to the speed of the game? So it is an interesting one. It's about the only thing to keep us interested between now and the cup final is who's going to play. So that's the only reason we're talking about it. But there we go. Talking about the cup final, 50-50 ticket split. Obviously, it was never going to be anything other than that. Again, no one talks about it, but it's a national disgrace that the National Stadium has a Celtic end and a Rangers end, and that again we are in the shite end of Hampden, whilst Rangers get their home dressing room and their home side of the stadium. That's pretty pathetic, isn't it?
It's stupid. It's like they should just draw lots for it or toss a coin or whatever. It shouldn't just be because one of the old firm are playing at Hampden that they automatically get their bit. That removes any sort of neutrality for it for me. And I know the police will say, but it's better to have the Rangers fans approaching from that side of the ground because they're all coming from the west. That's absolutely fucking balls anyway, because like how many Rangers fans travel from all over the country to go and see their team? So that argument falls in its arse. So for me, toss a coin, do it fairly.
Aye. And if Celtic and Hibs fans would have you believe it's just going to be a big getting off session anyway, so what's the point in even having segregation? You can sit wherever you want, man. It's a kiss and cuddle final. Do you know what I mean? It's going
We'll all be sitting with our kangaroos
I will
regardless.
just
It's
be
fine.
kangarooed out
Yeah,
or
we're all
not, man.
pals.
The kangaroo party songs will be bouncing. So that's a bit hanging. Obviously, as it gets closer and we get it signed off, we can discuss some of the details of what we're hoping to do in terms of TIFO and all that sort of stuff and display. So we'll keep you posted when it comes to that. Season ticket, the next one, which spoke about Kev. Prices frozen for the season. Sensible in it. It's pretty fair.
Very much so. Very much so. I think you'll probably find what we sold over 14,000 season tickets for this current campaign. The likelihood is because of success of the team since the start of the Premiership campaign, you'll see those 14,000 plus re-sign on and pay for next season. I think a couple of us have already done it for next season, so great from that point of view. And because of European football now being guaranteed, you'll find that you'll also get another 1,500, 2,000 actually joining. So you could be looking at 16,500 season tickets being sold for next year. And I think that means that our then standard gate receipt will be then cut as well, because we'll only have a small percentage that we can actually sell on match day, which is what we want at the end of the day. We want Tynecastle to be full.
Yep.
We all say that Tynecastle is the greatest atmosphere when it is full, whether that be Saturday afternoons or Wednesday night games. But of course, we're going to have Sunday afternoons and Thursday night games shortly.
Yep. And like you said, if the club do it sensibly, we'll have at least four home games in Europe next year. You look at the way to guarantee yourself a European home ticket, buy yourself a season ticket, because it's how you get yourself a cup final ticket, semi-final ticket, and European tickets is make sure that you've got season tickets. So it's sensible for the club to freeze the prices. I hope that the club look to then engage the fans in terms of a competitive pricing thing for Europe. I get it that the sort of standard default thing is these will be like gold dust, or charge 45 quid a ticket and make a tenner more on a ticket than you would normally. But I'd rather we have full stadiums, because we've been there like Infitel or whatever the hell they were called, Internet FC, whatever. Even the Maltese team, Tynecastle wasn't sold out for those games. Do you know what I mean? You'd be lucky if we broke 10, 12,000 for those matches. And you think of actually when we're at our best and when this team's at its best. If you look at the team this season playing in front of full houses compared to this team playing in empty stadiums last year in the Championship, they just look more up for it, more connected, more like they understand what it is to wear a Hearts jersey. So the club, I hope, have some sort of competitive and some sensible pricing especially for the qualifying games. If we can get a full house, it helps. For example, look at Rangers this year. A lot of their big performances have come on the back of Ibrox and it being absolutely sold out and bouncing and intimidating and all that sort of stuff. And that's every bit what we need Tynecastle to be as well. And then the last bit, since we always try and keep abreast of it all, there you go. There's another one to add to the list of. Yesterday, Monday, the Foundation of Hearts had its sort of leadership conference or whatever, where they discuss what's happening and detail some of the outlines and plans for the future. The news that came out of that is that Stuart Wallace is stepping down from his position within the Foundation of Hearts. From all of us on the podcast, we'd like to thank Stuart, because he's been amazing to us, getting in contact with us, being on the podcast, but also helping build the connections and stuff that we have with the club from day one. He's kind of been the shining light, along with a couple of others at the club that have really understood that actually if you can get directly to the fan base, then you can make good things happen. He's been behind every single one of the ticket drives in terms of promoting it, getting the club involved, getting the club to do stuff, as his cat for the club. So from all of us, brilliant job, Stuart. All the best in the future, and hopefully we'll see you in and around Tynecastle. Buy you a pint.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can come back on any time and shoot the shit with us if you want.
Correct. Exactly. Right. Pretty much it. Anything else you want to talk about?
Just one thing, just while we're talking about Europe, I take it. Remember, we had to play games at Murrayfield because there was like a limitation on the pitch size. I take it, and I don't know if it's been spoken about already. That's not a factor for us any longer that we have to
And
worry
to be
about.
honest, it
No.
wasn't that much of a factor before. It was just that we wanted to make more money. There was a
that's it,
season or
yeah.
two where we didn't meet the criteria, but then you could apply for an exception or whatever, an exemption from the rule type thing. But we still just decided I'd rather have 16,000 with segregation would have been a sellout at Old Tynecastle, or
Yeah.
18 to 19,000 in Murrayfield, but actual 18 to 19,000 people there. So they decided to go to Murrayfield.
I think there was an element in
stuff.
regards to media stuff as well, having the facilities for media interviews and all that kind of shit, and the old Tynecastle didn't have it. So with the new stand being built, that was also being part of the project that was involved, wasn't it?
And we've spoken about it before, and we don't have to go over
Good
it, but Murrayfield's for rugby and concerts. It's not for football. It's terrible.
No.
It's terrible for football. So get that in the bin. Cool.
Good.
There we go. Right. Hearts played Dundee United on Saturday.
Sunday.
Was it?
Sunday
It was
afternoon, mate.
Sunday.
Sorry to say.
Why is the club playing pre-seasons on a Sunday? Like, folk
God
have
knows,
got
mate.
things to do. We 3-1 up and then 2-1 up, and in the last minutes of the games against Hibs, we sang "Can we play you every week?" Actually, scrap that. Can we play Dundee United every week? Because every game this season has been an absolute belter. It was Dundee United 2, Hearts 3. Dundee United went 1-0 up. Should have been 1-0 up after about 10 seconds. Then 2-1 Hearts, then 2 each, then 3-2 Hearts. That goes on. What, we beat them 5-2 at Tynecastle.
Right.
2-0
Right.
first game, and then another 2-all draw, which had absolute peaches galore in that game as well. So it was pretty entertaining for a dead rubber, wasn't it? For the people that watched and could be bothered.
Aye, started off.
Not gonna lie. I seen bits and bobs of it. It didn't have my full attention, as you rightly say. It's a pre-season game, but the bits that I did watch, suitably impressed. I thought we held the ball well, played well enough. I didn't see the early parts of the game, but all in all, was all right.
So, Brad, we made some changes. I think we made 4 from the team that played at Hampden. We're in that catch-22 now, where you want to keep the games in the legs and all that sort of stuff. You want to keep momentum going, but also you want to wrap your best players in cotton wool, etc. So they were saying that obviously Kingsley and Halliday never made it due to the knocks they took in the semi. Ellis Sims dropped to the bench. He was also carrying a bit of a knock. Gave Giannelli, GMS, the opportunity to come back into the team. Taylor Moore, obviously, and who was the other one? McEneff coming in for Halliday as well. Again, we spoke about it a bit last week as well. We're going to see this now, aren't we? For the next sort of 4 games, you're going to see kind of, we'll call them hybrid sides, because that's what it is. You're going to see players, maybe on Saturday, Boyce and Mikhail starting the bench. Sims will get 60 minutes and then swap them out and all that. And it's pretty sensible to do that, Brad, isn't it?
I think you could even take a step further and rotate and get the young laddies starting and get them on and playing and getting some minutes. But again, as you said, the catch-22 is that you want to keep boys game fit and sharp coming into the big games. Coming into the big game, going to care less about the results really from now on to the end of the season. But they still want to be playing well. And you don't want them dropping that kind of standard and feeling like it is dead rubbers, because there was periods during that game that it did. Like nobody was wanting to hit shots, nobody was wanting to drive forward. So I think they did need a wee bit of a rock up their arse at some points. But I think you could take it a wee bit step further. I'd like to see the young boys start and then take it from there.
Kev, one of the things I liked about Sunday was one of the sticks that we beat Robbie with for ages was that sometimes after disappointing results, he become a bit, no petulant, but he said the wrong things at the wrong time, whether it be in the heat of the battle or, just emotions still being raw and stuff. We know the money spinning replay. We know the Hearts fans should go support Man United or whatever if you think we're going to win every week and all that type of stuff. The thing I've been most impressed with this year is he's really bullish with what he says. He doesn't. It's no longer like derbies before. First, Robbie Nielsen was, it's just a game. Take the emotion out of it, play the game, all that type of stuff. Now it's like we don't lose. We just win 3-1, 3-1 at home. 10% of the job's done. It's all about next week. And I liked what he said after the game on Sunday about, like you play for Hearts, you put the jersey on, you're here to win. 2,500 Hearts fans have travelled here to watch us. It's about putting on a show. It's about getting a result. I like that aspect of Robbie these days.
I think he's definitely set new expectations across the starting 18 players that we've sort of consistently used. So there's an expectation that's now there. I think what you said earlier on about the players playing in front of fans, that's had an element of to sort of buoyance that sort of statement. And we're now starting to see players actually wanting to play for the team. We've also spoke about in past episodes of where we've got guys actually coming off the bench into the actual, the 11 with 20 minutes to go, 30 minutes to go, whatever it may be, and not having a drop in the standard of play. Okay, there's a couple of examples that we could say differently. I'm not going to single out GMS in any way, shape, or form, but the majority of times we've got to that particular point. So not only have the players and the quality of the actual the guys on the park, improved, Robbie's also then started to see that improvement, and he's had to improve to an extent as well. And that comes in the way in which he approaches interviews with the media and everything else. So there's been a definite positive spin on all of it.
Aye. And Ando, Tam, we were lucky enough, as we've said loads of times before, to spend time in the company of Joe Savage. And I'm a massive believer in leadership breeds that culture from day one. Like, before we hadn't even kicked the boy, we hadn't even played Cove Rangers. We went into that interview to talk to Joe Savage to say, why's Robbie still got a job? How can we, we beat off Alloa, beat off Brora Rangers, struggled to win the championship, although we did it. Like, what do we need today? And for minute one, he was bullish himself. He was like, this is Hearts, we're massive. We should, bare minimum, we should be third. We should be getting semi-finals. We should be winning cups. That's what's here. That's what we sell them. Sell players to come here for. Robbie knows that. The players know that. That's what we expect. And that seems to have rubbed off on Robbie. Do you know what I mean? That sort of, when it comes from the top down, that standard of, no, we're only just going to show up and go through the motions type thing.
That question.
I just like
you do know that he did mention your name there, Tam.
Oh, sorry. It totally cut out. Sorry, apologies. I don't know what you said. It totally cut out.
This is Tam's usual rabbit fucking headlights.
Don't worry,
moment,
this will get cut. But what you actually,
no, it absolutely will not.
We'll move on.
My internet honestly went. I didn't know what you said.
I said Joe Savage is the boy, isn't he?
Pretty much.
Aye, good. Thanks, Sam. Right, move on. Brilliant. Thanks for that. Absolutely brilliant. Right, so the game itself, like we said, we couldn't have started any more with flip-flops on if we tried. After what I think straight from centre, they ran up the park, got a corner from the corner. Well, actually, no, the corner led from the fact that the guy should have scored the header, but defended it for us, and then out for a corner. It was a bit of I think Robbie nailed it. You got to give Dundee United credit. It was a great goal, to be fair. Pegs carrying, Coxon sells himself, but still, he still got to dance his way through and slide it in. So it was a bit of a terrible start. Tam won it.
To be honest, as you say, I think they were still Boyce was probably still shouting "fuck the Hibs" drunk for the first 5 minutes, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. So I know he wasn't involved in that first goal, but the rest of the boys were probably in the same situation. So, but to be fair, the goal kind of kicked them up the arse a bit, and they did start playing after that. But really,
I don't know if any of you had seen it or had read it, but Dundee United, I don't know if he's a podcast or if he does like analysis, a bit like the Maroon Report for Hearts, kind of did a bit of in-depth analysis of the game and the goals and where it was won and lost, and it's quite impressive when you see. We can see it in the game, but you're kind of wrapped up in watching Hearts and all that comes with it in terms of we're not sitting analysing every position picked up and who sits in the pivot and who does all that sort of stuff. But when you actually read where other folk doing it and picking it out, Peter Haring was the guy that basically they waxed lyrical about in terms of changing the game. Same with Ben Woodburn and stuff as well. Obviously, Eneff goes off around 25 minutes and Woodburn come in and played a bit deeper and played really well. But like, just that difference from, we've said about it before, Pittodrie, for example, Fir Park at Motherwell, when teams start aggressive and high and fast and press us, our arse can crumble. And for the first 25 minutes, it looked that way. And then we obviously pulled Haring back, almost like sitting just in front of the back three, and he played in that pivot thing and just literally stopped Dundee United getting into that space, stopped them being able to squeeze and press as high up the park. It allowed also by him just getting on the ball, carrying it and playing passes, it let us get up the pitch. And I think Peter Haring has to be, we talked about Barry Mackay, we've talked about Kingsley, we've talked about the rest, but it's getting to the point now that Peter Haring has to be the number one priority to get signed for the summer, isn't it?
100%.
Yep.
He pretty much played centre mid by himself for the second half. It was like 5 in front of him and just him himself. He strolled it.
Aye, he just makes such a big difference to us, Brads, and I think that it's all cyclical. But when I think Boyce and Mackay and Sims have their best games, it's when they don't have to do the backward stuff like the tracking back, and that's Peter Haring. That's what was so good about Benny and Devlin as well when they were at their peak, was they did that shielding stuff. They won the ball back and passed it to them and said, "Go do something." Do you know what I mean? And Peter Haring's brilliant at doing that as well.
I'm not making a direct comparison, but if you look at teams like Liverpool, Mane, Firmino, Salah, they're not expected to come back over halfway line. Boys, you stay the fuck up there and you do what you do best. And I think that mentality is allow these guys to be creative, allow them to have flair, allow them to kind of stay up there and do what they want to do. And just having that, as you said, that kind of cement, that brick wall that is Peter Haring in the middle just breaks up play. And we criticise him quite a lot for not being creative. That's what Benny's done at the start of the season as well. He breaks up the play, he breaks up any sort of counter-attack and allows us just to maintain possession. And that is so important. That kind of N'Golo Kante kind of role. It's amazing. I'm just getting all these terms out because we'll be in Champions League next year, so we'll be playing against these boys.
Aye. That is what you want, and he adds so much to that Australian contingent. So it makes us justified to have our bigoted kangaroos at Hampden. Kev,
I also think you're actually now starting to see Haring having a run in the team. There was a number of games when we did have Devlin and Benny, and there was no reason to take them out the squad at all. They were working really well together. But then we've had a few injuries. Haring's taken his opportunity, and he's showed that after 9, maybe 10 games that he's played, game after game, he's actually getting his match fitnesses up. He's probably back to where we've seen him at the beginning of his career with the club. I think he's definitely been up there as man of the match or ambassador's man of the match on a number of occasions over the last 2-3 months since he's came back into the squad.
So why is he digging his heels in the contract then?
Well, I know that's
maybe not him.
I don't know what the script is, but I liken it to like everything's Graveling we already know, but the areas of their game we think if they can kick on, develop that side of it, they're going to be like worth millions. And it's almost like the things that they're weak at, Haring's brilliant at. It's a bit like Salvatore, Tam Fogel to a certain extent, teaching like your Colin Camerons, your Neil McCanns, like the bits of the game that like you're already great at that. Add this to your game, like make the body the work. You don't have to sprint 35 yards all the time. You can make the body that for you. Stay where you are, like hold this position. Make them come to you rather than you go to them. Then it creates the space, and you think, well, if Devlin and Benny can learn and pick up that from Haring and add what Haring's great at to their games, it's a no-brainer to deal Peter Haring in for me. Like, talking of, on you go, Kevin.
I was going to say, maybe they're going to hold off on the news of Haring signing his contract until like the Tuesday or the Wednesday before the cup final, and that gives everybody a boost. Brad.
I was looking at it, like, if the carrot of incentive for him is European football, I think his previous club at SV Rab Reed, they are in a cup competition to go into Europe anyway. So that is he going home? He's just waiting to see what their result is? I don't know.
Get them pumped out, whatever they're up to then. Liquidate them. Like they've been doing EBTs, get them out the fucking league. Get them out, whatever it is. Get Rab Reed out.
Let's do a GoFundMe to buy them.
Down the drain. Talking of fucking exceptional talents, Barry Mackay's pass to Liam Boyce in the first half is absolute. I watched that on repeat. Goal of the season if Boyce scores.
They showed that pass on Sky, but it was Chelsea. It was the exact same pass, and they showed it constantly about how good is this ball, and I was like, we see this every week.
Every week, mate. What are you talking about? And someone actually tweeted something that did make me laugh. I thought about it. It was like, imagine how many assists Barry Mackay would have if we could fucking score. Like if Boyce could put the ball in the net, and if Ellis Sims could score or whatever, he'd be in the 20s easy. Because it's just everything about it. The thing I like about the goal, the Ellis Sim goal, is it looks like walking football. When you watch it, you watch the Hearts video. Peter Haring wins the ball back. It looks like he's just walking in slippers, plays it to Barry Mackay. It doesn't look like he's running. Slides into Ellis Sims, the toe bangs it in the top bag. It's like we're just making football look brilliantly easy right this very second. And Barry Mackay is absolute key to every single aspect of it. Best player we've got.
You know what I really liked actually? See moments before that, Barry Mackay played a long ball straight through the middle, straight out for a goal kick, and Gino was apologising. He's like, I should have been making that run. And it's weird to see, but that allows players like Boyce, Sims, Gino, Mackay Stevens to make creative runs and gamble on the fact that they know that he's got the quality.
GMS making creative runs. You're making a valid point.
You take the goal. Well, it was almost an attempt from Eneff. GMS bombs forward, knowing that Mackay's going to find him, and he does. And that's part of his game that allows players to go and be creative and take a gamble because he has got the quality to find it. And I love that element of that our attack.
Aye, same. Ando.
You're asking the question about is Barry Mackay the best player we've got? I think when it gets to the end of the season, right, and Boyce gets past 20 goals, let's argument's sake gets 21, 22, whatever, breaches that plane and becomes the first striker that we've had since Robbo to get 20 goals a season. Where do you come down on that? Is Barry Mackay still the best player that we've got, or is it Boyce by default because he's breached that 20 goal plane?
But Barry
Mackay's
turning into the Craig Gordon outfield positions.
100%,
the impact he has in games, the little things that like Brad's just said there. It's you have to watch Barry Mackay, like at that fucking idiot on PLZ Soccer or whatever it is when someone said he was player of the season. They said he's had 4 good games. You have to watch Barry Mackay because it's the things that he pulls off because they're great. It's all the stuff that's like if Boyce had put that in the back of the net, if Gino had made that run, because he sees things that nobody else sees, and the only thing sometimes that lets him down is poor finishing from getting an assist, or the fact that he's just too good for everybody else, and they're like, oh shit, I should have been there. Like the goals that Ellis Sims is scoring now, he'll score them all the rest of this season because the Barry Mackay just knows slide it in. And look at how many he's done for Boyce as well. The one in the cup, the semi, he puts it wide. He had one against Rangers, he put it over the bar. Like Mackay will find those channels every single time we are passing. It's up to, like Brad said, it's up to now Boyce, your GMS, your Gino, your Woodburns, whoever, to get on to the end of them because tee you up and set you up all day long. Where do you rank them on your
and the more no, I was just going to say the more they play together, and like I know they've been playing the majority of a season, but this is the point is like those little things that maybe trip people up beforehand are now starting to all come together now. So it's only going to be a matter of time until, dare I say it, in a pre-season game, someone takes an absolute beasting and we get our first 6 or 7-0 of the season. But it's great to see.
Good to see. So obviously we got a goal down, build into the game slowly. Atkinson and Gino Woodburn start to grow into the match in terms of impacting the game in positive positions. I've got to say we've slaughtered them before, and I still think there was I don't know if it's the equaliser for Dundee United that comes from him again, letting the ball bounce, trying to like let it. I don't know if he was trying to shield it out. The guy muscles him off it, passes the ball inside, and Edwards rifles it into the bottom corner. It might not have been that exact passage he played, but there was a situation very similar to we had one at Tynecastle where it was we were in their half and he's tried to shield it. He's tried to do a bit of a jockey situation, a bit like Sibic in the semi, and he's just been out-muscled. He's just did it in the wrong area, hasn't been in the right body position, hasn't been set right, and the boys took it off him. They've run up the park and nearly scored, and it was the same situation. If he can get that side of his game better, but going forward, Atkinson is brilliant. I think he's everything that you want from a wing-back. You see him, obviously Gino's played through, turns the guy brilliantly, playing on the shoulder. You think the move's going to die. We turn over the ball, pull it in Atkinson, and then again it will be underappreciated because it looks like a bundle, but Boyce does brilliant to knock the ball in. You know, it comes ricocheting up to him and he has to put it into the back of the net with his chest, and it's good to see him scoring goals again and doing it.
Cool. 100%. Absolutely. If I was a betting man, and I definitely am, then I'd be putting money on him getting across that 20-goal line by hook or by crook. I think he deserves it. Not least for a good number of the games, he's been asked to play a position that's probably a little bit unfamiliar to him. But that doesn't. Never once have you seen the head go down. He never pissed and moaned about it. He's always just been an absolute workhorse and covered just about every blade of grass on the pitch. The boy's absolutely fantastic. And I think back to my opinion of him 2 years ago when I thought he was dug me. Sorry for that. I've got a big shit sandwich to eat. Because
one of the things I like about Hearts is something that we've all sat there and watched, like a Celtic or Rangers do it to us. And we've spoke about it a bit in derbies, but in different games as well now it's starting to happen where it starts to build up that you can sense that Hearts are going to score. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it happened in the derby at Tynecastle, we're 1-0 down, but we start to grow into the game, start to create chance, getting into positions. And it was like that on Saturday as well after, like I said, a ropey 25 minutes. When we started finding players, started playing passing, it was like, we're going to score. Like, we're going to score pretty soon. Like, the chances are coming in. That, again, we said about the derby at Tynecastle, that's demoralising for teams. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, Dundee United have went up the park, scored within the first, 3 or 4 minutes, and we've put that fire out straight away. All right, we've not scored back, but we've regained the ball, took possession, took control of the game, and then we've started to stretch them, pull them, create chances, and it just sucks the life out of teams. There's almost like an inevitability that they're going to score, and it's a good mentality to have in it.
It's a great mentality to have, and what you probably find is that if you take the United game on Sunday, Dundee United after scoring, they've had maybe another half chance, and then they could have had a couple of others wasn't it from I think it was Sibic cut one pass out and Taylor Moore took out one of the other boys as well. He makes a change for him. He usually does. And what you then started to see was the fact that Dundee United were like, well, that was they were the sort of plans that we had. We've not got any further in this game. And what you're now starting to see is we're getting pegged back further and further. And as you say, it's demoralising for the team. That they've tried everything, it's not worked for them. And then before you know it, what was it, 3 minutes before half time, Boyce has scored to equalise. And it's the same as the game against Hibs in the league. You know, we've scored just before half time. Possibly you could say it was a bad time to score. Wasn't such the case in the game at Tynecastle against Hibs, because we've came out in the second half and just picked up from there. And to an extent, we've done the same thing on Sunday. We started the second half a hell of a lot better than we did the first half. A long ball from Cochrane was what opened up. And it's not the way we've played a lot this season. We've not went for that real long ball. Done it a couple of times. St Johnstone away, I can remember, and Ginnelly scores, and then again on Sunday.
But there's a difference, like we've spoke about before. Like Hibs at Tynecastle went long purely because they had to get the pressure away, so they just punted it and we lapped it up. Cochrane hasn't punted it away. That's what Gino was there to do. Play on the shoulder, knock it over him and chase the ball down. And again, Tam, I was going to talk about there that we talk about, obviously Ellis Sims comes on and scores the winner and does brilliant and looks brilliant, and Boyce and Mackay had great games, but good to see Gino and Woodburn make positive impacts in the game. Like we've said before, the players could have been on the beach. Do you know what I mean? The season's done. We've done what we came to do, which was finish third. We're in a cup final. The players could have easily just packed it up. But the fact that, like you said, we spoke about it last week, you're looking for your Woodburns, your McAneffs, your Moores, your Civics. You're looking for your Geno's, GMS's, guys coming in to make an impact and say, here, I want to play in that cup final. And I thought Gino and Woodburn were really, really good for 25 minutes onwards on Sunday.
100%. I would say with Gino, he looked a bit shaky to begin with, like was they really using his pace and stuff. But once he got into the game, he's not played in weeks, to be fair. He really, really did perform and was causing problems. So, but that's a good thing with us at the moment. Like we are putting out what did you call it earlier? Hybrid teams, hybrid teams or something. Yeah. The good thing is when those sort of not first choice players come in, they've got that goal of the cup final in mind, and they're really going to want to be playing that game at the end of the season, and that's good for us in the terms of keeping the performances up, regardless of who comes in. They're going to see that game and really use it as a motivation tool.
Aye, and look, we've said it before. I know everybody's asked to come in, and that front three, Brads, it's always interchanging. It's no somebody through the middle or whatever. Whoever comes in, whether you're GMS, Gino, Woodburn, you're asked to play some bits on the wing and then come in at the 10, then go back to the other wing. It's all about rotation. It's to keep them guessing, keep the people moving. But we've seen it now before. We've seen it at the game at Tynecastle. Woodburn played through the middle against Dundee United, and he scores 2 goals. He gets in a good performance. He's played more central after we've moved him in after a ropey first 10-15 minutes when he's come on as a sub, and he's impacted the game positively. He didn't come here to play as a winger. If he's going to play, you're going to have to play him in the 10, isn't you?
Aye, and his best performance came from that 4-2-3-1 when he played in the 10 role. Although he was playing, playing
the 8 on Sunday, almost,
and he played it really well.
Yeah,
I don't know. Sometimes some players crumble under the pressure of being that high up, and then in that front three, the expectation that you have to be creating chances, you have to be scoring, and sometimes to sit a wee bit deeper and do the dogged work, they relax a wee bit more, and that seemed to be his game there. He was quite happy just to sit just in front of Haran, knowing that he had that extra bit of cover, so he could dive into a tackle, he could go in for a challenge, knowing that Pedro's going to be there. And it allowed him to be more creative and set up your Mackays and set up Gino a lot more than he has done any other point this season. So from his perspective, I think a wee bit deeper actually suited him better.
And you have to also take into consideration, Ando, the fact that like Boyce and Mackay and Sims, they're hugely intelligent football players. Do you know what I mean? So if you aren't absolutely bang at it, you're not in the same rhythm as them, they can make you look stupid just by accident. Do you know what I mean? Like playing the pass, making the run, you going to cut inside and you end up running into them or running into the same space that they were. And I think that's what, like what I'd said there, is you playing that front three because they are so intelligent in what they do. You do have to be of a certain standard on it. It's no surprise that if you were to go through the side and say, right, when I sit, apart from Gordon, but when a centre back has to come in, like a Moore or a Civic, they do well. A right back comes in, they do well. Andy Halliday can go across there. Midfielders are coming in, they do well. If we were to pick one aspect of the team where we'd say actually they've been probably the least impactful, and we've highlighted it before, goals to the bench and all that sort of stuff, you're looking at your GMS, your Gino, and your Woodburn. They come onto those positions that Mackay, Boyce, and Sims play, and it's a noticeable drop off straight away because of the intelligence. And is it unfair to judge them against Boyce, Mackay, and Sims when they're quite clearly probably a level above?
Yeah, no. Obviously the point you make there is absolutely spot on. Is that that front three have such a high pedigree, and they've displayed that throughout the season. That if you take one of them out, take one out and sub one in that's not getting regular game time, then it is going to be a drag factor. But the hope is that with these guys, it's difficult because you don't want to disrupt a winning team and all that sort of stuff. These guys playing at a very high level, very high pedigree. You don't want to change that up. But then you also want to give the other players that are on the periphery, so GMS, Gino, whoever, then you want to give them that chance to play in that system, knowing that all the other players that are around them, because they're playing to such a high level, will elevate their performance naturally. Because if you play with good players, you yourself become better. That's just a fact. But it's one of those. It's not catch-22. It's just a difficult decision. You have to balance the success of the team overall by having those three guys up front that are absolutely magnificent, versus give these boys a run out to try and increase their level. Difficult one, but they could do a lot. I reckon with more game time for each of them, they will definitely be elevated to the standard that we see from the main three.
And this is where I think Robbie's next big challenge after this season is, how does he manage the squad? Like, we've got a weird squad, probably the weirdest in the league. We use the least amount of players, all that sort of stuff, but you can see that it's a really close-knit squad. They all know what they're doing, they all know the roles. Just naturally, the fact that we're going to be fighting League Cup, European football, the league, then the Scottish Cup or whatever, he's going to have to get that right in terms of the balance of bringing players in, when to rest players, when to bring players in, because what we could argue versus last year, we've been our best because the spine of our team, it's been pretty much the same all season long.
Yeah.
You know, and there's no massive drastic changes. It's one or two come in or out because necessity dictates that they come out. So, Tam, let's look forward to Ross County pre-season friendly on Saturday. What do you do? What's your hybrid team? Do you keep the same team that started Sunday? What changes are you making? What you doing?
Making it.
There you go again.
You've got to stop drinking
Somebody
red wine.
kept you in the buzz the night,
I
man.
know. It's the first time I've drank on a podcast for a bit.
Button your shirt up like an adult. Aye, there you go. Proper scenester now. Right, good. He's a proper answer.
McEneff's obviously clearly out. So I'd bring Woodburn in because he played that role well. But I'd keep it relatively the same. I don't think you're wanting to rush like Kingsley or Halliday back. If they're fit enough, put them on the bench and give them a wee bit of run out. But I'd keep it relatively the same out of that. I would maybe swap around, give Sims to start, Boyce to put on the bench, something like that. But same again in terms of shape, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I didn't really say much there.
Just win then.
Just win. Just try
win.
hard and win.
Yeah, right. Just win. Try hard, win. Right,
Good,
and
Shanks.
then gauge your prediction. What's your prediction for Saturday?
My prediction is who cares?
But let's go with half to.
No, have to. I think 2-0 Hearts.
Okay. Kev, anything different from what Tam says?
I don't know if there's. I don't expect there to be any great deal of changes in the starting lineup from what we've seen on Sunday. I take on Bradley's point earlier on, it would be nice to see some of the younger lads getting at least a run out, give them some match experience. I don't know if that's from the start. I don't believe that was how Robbie would want to pitch the young lads into the team. But if we start well and we're maybe 2-0 up with an hour gone, then yeah, give the boys half an hour. Let them see what is their expectation level of actually pulling on a Hearts shirt actually means. But I don't expect there to be a great deal of changes. I wouldn't be surprised. Again, it probably comes off the back of Sims had 15 minutes on Sunday. I know he said that he was carrying a knock. Do you do the same thing? Just give him 15, 20 minutes at the weekend, or do you bring him in for Boyce? I don't know. I think like Ando said, and as Ando wants, keeping Boyce in the starting lineup gives him a greater chance to hit the 20 goal mark. If we start to rotate things, then he's maybe not going to have as much of a chance to hit 20 league goals for the season. But I don't think I would change anything from what we've seen.
Cool. What's your prediction then? 3-1. Nice. Ando?
Well, to my previous point about trying to elevate your sort of peripheral players, I would definitely keep Boyce in. I know I always say don't change a winning team, but that's when the game matters. This game doesn't matter. It does matter for Ross County, because obviously everyone below us has still got position to play for, and all the pounds make a difference for that calibre of club. So I think Ross County will come out fighting. I think it won't be, I don't think, an easy game. I'd like to see Robbie make a couple of changes, just maybe to bring those peripheral players back in, get them a bit of game time just in case they are needed against Rangers and Celtic in the final games. Now again, all eyes on the cup final. I think a couple of changes I'd be happy with. Don't just go out and play young laddies. You can do that whenever you want. My prediction is going to be we'll edge it by a goal. I think there'll be a few in it. I'd say 3-2 at Hearts.
Next one, Brad.
I think. What did you call him, Tam? Eneff?
Eneff.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right, Brad.
I think Eneff has. He's not been good enough the last couple of games. We've spoke about this,
hasn't he?
Robbie attitude, and if he's going to do it, he has to even be ballsy now and say
it's not being good in it.
End it. That's it. Done. Pods over.
There you go. That's the show name.
I don't think it has been good enough. And as we say, if Robbie's got this attitude that he's trying to drive into the players, this is his moment to step up and make a stamp in the team. He's not done it. Like, mate, you're binned in. You can start on the bench. If you're not going to be impactful, you're not coming.
He's not played his position though, has he? He's not a centre mid, that's for sure.
You play with your fucking tail, Kev.
All right, fuck.
Yeah, that's the attitude of this. That's the attitude of this podcast. It's the attitude of this Hearts team.
Play with your fucking tail. Play for it. If that was the attitude the boys say, I'm not a wide player. I play up top, and you know what I mean. We wouldn't have the performances.
No, I'm not. I wasn't getting it at that point. I was getting at the fact that he has been saying I'll play centre mid, but we've seen that that's not his position. He's not the penny. He doesn't have that sort of ability of breaking up challenges and then having that box to box element. I think he is somebody who's out wide. I know we brought him in with that sort of that element of his game was a box to box midfielder, but he's not shown it to me in any of the games that he's played so far. And he definitely looks better to be either out left or out right.
So he doesn't play over Gino or Mackay, so bin. Woodburn comes in for me, or even somebody like Tate, and give them a wee start. Oh, it's a draw all day. No,
Desmond.
Boring as fuck.
I'm
just going to take my inflatable sombreros.
We've drew every game with them, haven't we?
No, we beat them. We beat them 2 weeks ago.
No.
3 weeks ago.
Beat them at Tinker.
I'm having a bloody meal tonight, man. I'm fucked. I don't know what's going on.
No, you're right. We drew with them anyway. We didn't beat them. We drew with them in Dingwall. We always draw with them in Dingwall. We beat them on Boxing Day 2-1. So we should have battered them, but they got a goal back in the second half, and then it was fucking arse making buttons time, wasn't it? I'm actually going to be a bit different to everybody else because as much as we've laughed and joked all day and saying that these are pre-season friendlies and we don't care, I just think there's something a bit different about Robbie and Hearts. We're 9 undefeated. I don't think he'll want to lose any game between now in the cup final, because we're on a wave. Everybody's buzzing. There's like feel good factor around Hearts. I don't think he'll change it. I think he'll go for it. If I'm being honest with you, go for it. What you saying?
Yep,
It's
set, man.
Yeah, I'm counting out. I'm waiting for you to say it's going to be a 6-0.
no. I'm not saying it's going to be. There's not going to be a 6-0, but I think it'll be pretty close to the team that ended the game on Sunday. Maybe the exception is I don't think Ellis Sims will start, or maybe Mackay won't start. Somebody that's key will probably sit out. But I don't see us bringing in youngsters. I don't see us bringing in any of that stuff, because I think, you know what, it's like, if, for example, I think we've been unbeaten since we got scudded 5 with Rangers, I think, potentially, but I can't do the math that far back. But that was something that I think Robbie and that was like get beat playing the right way and all that, that's fine, but don't get, like, we're not getting humiliated. That's no good enough for Hearts type thing. And I don't see us looking to go into a cup final with everything that we've built up, all the stuff. I think it's the first time since 2000 and something we've managed to get to 60 points in the league. I believe 63 is the average that the third team gets every year or something, so he'll look to get past that. Also, the fact that he likes to, or this season he's been hell-bent on fixing bad omens and bad runs and bad things. Hearts have been absolutely terrible in the top 6 for the past decade whenever we've been in it. I think Robbie will look to win as many games from now to the end of the season as possible. So I'd say 1 or 2 changes on Saturday, and I'm going to say 3-1 to Hearts.
Yeah, your last defeat was away to St Johnstone, 2-1 game.
2-1.
Then
yeah.
before that we'd had, well, it was the league the cup match, but the 2 then league matches before that were Dundee at home, getting beat at home, and then the Rangers 5-1.
And then that's spanking.
Shows that we don't even remember that, how bright and sunny and good it is at the moment. Eh?
Must have been good broadcast though. We would have all been raging.
I missed the glory days, man.
I
missed the glory days. I like to
When
call
we used to
them
go
the
to
glory
games
days.
raging, and now we're planning on going with like board shirts and inflatables and flat flips and light
I
on
can.
Saturday.
No, I
What the hell's
don't
going
like
on?
it. But I just don't like it. I don't like it. My bed sheets have never been cleaner. Well, that's it. Unless
That's a lie.
well, I'm looking for Newman to sort that out. So if you're listening, if you want to help me make a mess of my bed sheets, then get in contact. We'll end it on that. Kev, geez, your Kevin McKenna's. Let's get the answers.
No worries. Kevin McKenna's for this week, 62 appearances, released at the end of his contract before moving to St Midden, Hearts star. After a couple of trials in England, failed to land him a contract, and he finished his professional career with 5 seasons at Brunton Park. Have you got the answer, Tam?
I also want to call you. You got this wrong.
All right, go then.
He didn't finish it up.
Fuck off with 2 games at
Granger.
Workington away and pissing your fucking bed sheets.
I don't make the rules, Kev. I just speak facts.
I dropped facts. Right, go on then. Who is it?
It's Danny Granger.
Danny Granger, mate. Correct. And
I love it how Tam picks this of all times to go
Yeah.
battling with Kev, but we'll park that for the next time.
and the last one for tonight, second one for tonight, 248 appearances, inducted into Hearts Hall of Fame in 2007, won the award of Scottish Football Writers Association Player of the Year twice in his career, and the player is also Tam. You've got the answer, haven't you? You won it twice. Come on, Tam.
My internet's went.
All right,
What did you say? Nah.
Flap like a wee bitch
Exactly.
again.
Em, you got the second one for tonight?
Neil McCann.
The gaffer.
Sorry, Brad, your audio went there, mate.
The gaffer, is it Robbie?
It's not Robbie. The second one this evening is Craig Gordon.
When did you
When
say?
did I what? Won the
When did he get inducted into the thing?
2007,
2007.
youngest player.
That's what's threw me off. That's what threw me off. 2007.
I thought he had more caps than that. That's why I was
What a big hands up.
confused.
Not gonna lie, Kev. I never wrote
Never
anything down.
expected you.
I was too busy inflating my kangaroo.
There's your innuendo.
Another shout out to Newman. That's another shout. Another shout out to Newman. If you're into it, you want to. There's 5 guys on here that need their kangaroo inflated. Right, boys. I'll see yous at the Ardmillan on Saturday. I'll have my bed sheet in the boot of the car just in case we do get beat, and we can celebrate back to the old days. Right, boys. See you all later.
See you
All the
later.
best.